MVPs. Step 1 was make it work. Step 2 is make it fast. Coincidentally, this video will be fast because there's really just one part about making something fast, and that is figuring out how to make it easy. Easy is fast. So you can start simple, and after you've done something, one of the things to look back on is to say, how might I make this simpler? You look at the complexity and you try to abstract or remove the pieces that can add complexity that are not necessary. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry in The Airman's Odyssey says, perfection is achieved not when there's nothing more to add, but when there's nothing left to take away. Well, when we talk about that for an MVP, there are lots of different examples in terms of how this might work. When we're kicking off the process, we might start with looking at the level of complexities of communication. A Slack message is the most informal and easiest message to send. An email might be the next level of complexity and difficulty. A meeting might be the next level, and a report might be the most complex. So when we look to start improving a process or kicking off a process, we don't jump to the report. We don't jump to the meetings. We start with making our emails better or making our Slack messages better. And when we continue to tweak the process and work through the process and layer things in over time. The example of someone on the treadmill here is to invoke the idea that we are just starting to exercise. We don't want to set our speed at a high speed. We don't want to set our incline at a high incline. We want to start simple and easy. And so to that end, hard is slow. If you increase the incline of the treadmill, you will slow down. Importantly, even slowing down, you may be having a bigger impact because the process, or in this case, the exercise, is better. However, if you have not trained with gradual increases, you may not be prepared for the advanced exercise or process. With a treadmill, it might not make as much sense, but if you start with the 300 pounds on a bench press without training, you will fail. Using the earlier example, we don't start with reports. We progress through those layers, and we make sure that we do each layer very well before we do the next level of progression. And if we've done that, we can build up through the process and learn through the process and create a higher level of reproducibility and quality. Although I've mentioned that most processes fail because they do not consider bad paths or logic-based decisions, it's also better to start the process with as few forks in the process as possible and only fork it when it's clear it has to be forked. And so the only thing I'll say is always start with easy. And yes, sometimes when you're launching, you don't know how to make something easier. So you just fumble. You just start fumbling through it. But once you're done with that, you can say, I fumbled through this. What did I learn? What can I simplify? What complications can I remove? Because you will always be adding complications over time. And what you need to do is find the appropriate balance for your organization and for your employees and for your clients, but also critically important for your margin. The easier it is, the less resources it will take to complete and the higher your margin will be. Now, as we invest into our clients and we want those accounts to grow, we're going to add complications and difficulty to them. However, to continue our exercise analogy, more pain is more gain. It is only if we have the appropriate margin and we evaluate our process development through the lens of effort versus return or pain versus gain that we can truly understand the impact our processes will have as we transition them from an MVP to a final product. In the next lesson, we'll be speaking about making it pretty. Thank you and have a nice day.